right, welcome back, folks. We promised you Gary Danielson from CBS. By the way, a little God of Thunder for you for Conor McGregor, who is 27. Are you much into the MMA thing there, Gary Danielson?
No, I wish I was. I wish I was. No, I don't.
No, you don't. Of course not. Why? Don't lie.
I always was a wimp and still am, basically. You know what I got to just say?
I don't think there's such thing as a quarterback being a wimp.
This is very interesting.
NFL,
This is I played 13 years and had 7 surgeries. And it doesn't count the other stuff, and I really, truthfully, never felt any pain, anxiety, fear, nervousness. I mean, there's a lot to think about when you're, okay? But after the game, like when you take the Band-Aid, ow, ooh, right. And I'd look around and the linebackers were doing the same. We're a bunch of wimps,
right.
and that stings, like that. We'd always laugh. So anyway.
So I think that just proves you were a tough guy, obviously. But for me, every quarterback in the NFL is a tough guy because when you take the kind of pounding you guys take.
There's Jim Kelly tough, Bernie Kosar tough, and then there's the rest of us.
There's Andrew Luck tough, too.
Right.
That young man took a beating.
Yep.
Anyway, we are obviously enjoying the SEC Media Days. First of all, what's the overall narrative for you so far this week?
I think number one is Tennessee has to do it. They've got the best team by far in the East. It's be a major upset and a real tough hurdle if Butch can't bring a East Division championship to Tennessee. They're the best team. The rest of the teams could pretty much put an all-star team together and, it'd still be a good contest. I just don't – the rest of the teams really have holes in their lineup. But I do think the interesting part of it for Tennessee, when I look at it, is do they get to the SEC East and be Missouri into the championship in Atlanta and not be tough enough to handle the battle-tested West teams like Missouri was? Because they need a couple tough, close games. They have not been able to finish games. They need to beat somebody, Georgia, A&M, Arkansas, Florida, in the last 2 minutes of the game and take a game and come in there ready and prepared to win. So the East is all about Tennessee. And the West is what other, can LSU, who's has the talent to play with Alabama, can they do it? Because since that championship game, when they had to play, I thought unfairly, play Alabama twice, they haven't been the same. And I don't understand it at all. They seem to be chasing stuff they don't need. They want a quarterback that has a third dimension when they need a quarterback that can throw a damn 12-yard hook pass is all they need. They're good enough. You don't need the game outside the game. You just need a guy hitting a guy in front of you. So can Ellis, but for the first time I sense that the LSU players, since that debacle against Alabama last year when they had their manhood chased from them in that game.
Including Fournette,
yeah. Exactly. They were embarrassed. They got man-whipped, okay? And I think for the first time, those players want the SEC championship more than the fans do. Before, the fans wanted it, but the players were enamored with the NFL or how they did their look and their wristbands, and they were an unfocused team in my mind. But I think the focus is back, and I think it helped a little bit that it almost cost Les his job. So that'll be, I think, the interesting storyline. And then for the West, there'll be one more team. I don't know. Will it be Arkansas that has a really nice home schedule? Will it be A&M who's loaded at a lot of positions and Trevor Knight coming in there? Will it be Auburn who finally, they got to have that piece at quarterback. Could John Franklin be, the quarterback that transfers in? Because that offense doesn't work without a running quarterback. They run the ball more than any team in running down situations other than Georgia Tech and all of the Power 5 conferences. So that offense does not work without that quarterback.
Is there any chance, Gary, that we're doing the same thing to Tennessee that we did to Johnson last year?
No, because Josh has played. Josh Dobbs is a proven guy. Jeremy had never played.
I'm just saying the whole program has not, the program.
Yeah, but
they have not
you
crossed that threshold yet. So
Well, that's true, but they're in the East, though.
Okay.
Now, if they were in the West, I wouldn't be making that bet.
And they finished with 6 straight wins.
Yes, exactly, and that's really bad for them. I tell this to Dave Hart. I've been telling it to Tennessee. I'm going to meet with. I've been telling the commissioner. It's bad for the conference. Literally, we don't. No, that's a wrong word. In a way, CBS roots against Tennessee. You want to do Tennessee after in November? There's not a game on their thing. If they're the leading team, you want to do Tennessee, Kentucky? Do you want to do Tennessee? It's just games that have no meaning. There's no drama from the East, after the midpoint of the season. They need to put that Florida-Tennessee game to the end of the schedule, and they need to put Florida State-Florida at the beginning of the schedule. Why does Florida want to play Florida State the week before the SEC championship? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
play it in September, get it over with, get it off the table. It's not like Florida is neutralizing Florida State. Florida State's going to be a power if they want to be a power.
And it gives you a chance to overcome that loss through the entire season.
And it also gives us a chance to put an East team on. CBS basically becomes the SEC West network after the halfway point of the season.
Let me ask you this. The last game you did, ironically, the last game you did was us, Miami.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had all 3 seasons in that game. We had spring, we had winter.
You guys, I tell you, El Paso is signing a petition. They do not want you guys back, and you guys don't want to go back.
No, every time we go there, it's a snowstorm, and we couldn't get out of there either.
You guys got me in serious trouble, too, the last time you were there.
With the Chamber of Commerce? Or what?
Yes, with the Chamber of Commerce.
Don't worry, I took care of that.
Oh, did you really?
Probably topped it.
I had over 500 phone calls complaining. It was just a funny line. It was a winter snowfall, and Miami hadn't taken their hands out of their pockets since the second quarter. And I said one of our executives didn't come to the game because he was getting married that weekend. And I go, God, a guy who can't do anything not to go to El Paso. I go like that, and I go, it's just a line, it's just a funny line.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we probably said a few things about El Paso as well on that day.
You got what you guys deserve. That's what I always say, in El Paso.
Sure.
You get to El Paso in the Sun Bowl for a reason, It's a great game. I love doing the game. In fact, it's very competitive because both teams are a little bit embarrassed when they come into that game and don't want to lose that game.
It shouldn't be called the Sun Bowl. But Miami has Brad Kaya. You've seen him a couple of times, and I know you were down in Miami studying him, and Mark Richt. So that combination, what do you see this year?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be a transition or not. Mark has a great feel for quarterbacks and the marriage. I said on somebody's radio station, it might have been yours, that when I was doing an interview about Mark, I go, just don't forget about everybody. If Mark will take the job, park the airplane over there and just forget about it. Give him the job and deal with it. Whatever happens, happens. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you can't make a better choice. And I think it will be a good choice long term. But Mark said some interesting things. Where have all the big guys gone? Where is everything on this team? And somehow the recruiting got off kilter a little bit. I don't know why.
I love his honesty, by the way.
Yes, and that's Mark's. That's his trademark. And I think they need. That it's no matter what people tend to say about college football, that it's the no huddle and the spread and all these things. The run-pass options, all of that is cute, okay? But it's like the trap block or the screen pass. It's all a part of your game plan, but it's not the foundation of your football team. The foundation of your football team, offensive line, defensive line, and quarterback. That's the foundation of your football team, just like the NFL. And Harbaugh gets it. Urban Meyer gets it. Nick Saban gets it. You can see how to build football teams. I think Mark gets it. I don't know, for whatever reason, Mark has not been able to finish it. At Georgia, he had teams that were capable of winning the championship, and it never seemed to finish the right way for him. And I never quite understood why. He had some really – Georgia's not going to be as good as they were last year. He had 3 really strong years and couldn't finish it off.
I would have liked to have seen some of his teams, though. In today's rules, he would have been, I've said this several times, in the Final Four, so he would have had a shot at it. He would have been in the semifinals.
Maybe. His teams always, and you guys are going to have to watch this closely, his teams always found a way that they just didn't finish their season. And that killer instinct is Mark's next step, okay? And it could happen late in his career, but he needs that final step, that Bobby Bowden step that finished off the season. And he's got to bring that as a head coach to the Miami program. You know how Miami is. Miami's the way it's always been. Give me a championship. Their past players demand it, And I think that may help Mark take that next step as a coach where he realizes, it's win the championship, baby. That's how we measure things around
you'll
here.
get back to that when you recruit the players that you
I
were
think you're
talking
right.
about that demand that.
That's the great thing about Mark, though. He is comfortable, and I'm not talking about the black athlete. I'm not talking about the yapping and all the other stuff. It's the intensity of football, that was when you played Miami, you could feel the Ed Reed intensity. And Mark is comfortable and used to that, and that could be his next step as a great coach.
Gary Danielson, excellent work for CBS. Gary, as always, thank you for the time and the insight. Phenomenal stuff.